let us talk about Dany, who we mentioned sort of for a while. She and Arya both seemed to have these very strange storylines where they were kind of not moving forward. Dany has begun in a big way to move forward, clearly by taking complete control of the Dothraki, getting the entire army behind her. But I want to talk about, this is not a brand new theory. In fact, Jim Vejvoda has had this theory for quite a while, a couple of years now. He would come up to me and talk to me about it. But is Dany sort of heading in a heroic direction, or might she be sort of considered a villain by the end of this with the way she's amassing power?
That's the big question. Whenever the subject comes up, because it is a very popular theory, I just think of that scene where she wasn't getting her way with, I think it was the Masters or something like that, and she just had them ripped apart by dragons.
Yeah.
And she was just watching. She was like, oh yeah. And so she had that that Targaryen madness, that dragon madness. Mm-hmm. So I do think she has it in her to be a villain. She's doing like righteous things, like freeing slaves and everything, that's what we've seen her do. So we've always been on her side. Like,
yeah.
If people are doing horrible things, sometimes it takes horrible actions to stop them, and you kind of like see that justified. But her new speech, which was a throwback to Khal Drogo's awesome speech from season 1, that had no like kind of righteousness to it. It's like, we are going to rip down their stone houses, and we are gonna eat their cows, and that was the toned down version. I didn't want to say everything she said.
We're gonna watch their TV without their giving permission.
Yeah. So. So I feel like that is a possibility that she could go down that path. Because if you unleash an army of Dothraki screamers on Westeros, it's not going to be pretty, right? And they're going to do what Dothraki do, which is awful, horrible things, and raping and pillaging, and destroying and looting things. So.
I feel like it might be a sort of very morally murky, gray path we're going on with her, because I don't think it's not like she's going to become like Ramsay, like in the villain sense of just like deplorable. But it would be a very Game of Thrones thing. And again, keeping in mind that, while they're now ahead of the books, they know from George R.R. Martin the big beats. Like, I could see it leading towards a thing where, like, what if, she, in conquering Westeros, like, kills or re-kills Jon Snow or Sansa or someone we do care about,
Right.
And it's still a win for her, and in a way a righteous win, but it's in like someone we love being taken out, or someone we know is fighting for their right cause, taken out at the same time.
Yeah, for anyone to have victory in Game of Thrones, someone we like, a lot of people we like are gonna lose. Like, I can't think of anyone in Westeros who would be happy to see her. You know what I mean? Show up on 3 dragons with a giant army behind her. So that it will be bad news for more than a couple of people when she shows up. And even if Jon winds up being her sister, as like that fan theory.
Jon's her sister.
Sorry, brother. Whoa, even crazier theory than you thought. You thought you knew it was going to happen, you didn't yet. If she was Jon's sister. That even then, like, what's that going to do? She's going to be like, oh, well, I didn't like my last brother. Yeah, Jacaerys.
Right. And I could see that happening. The idea that they are blood and relatives. Well, we're like, oh, they're going to team up now. But it would be very Game of Thrones if, oh, they're related, and then they kill each other, or one of them kills the other.
Yeah.
So.
I mean, ultimately, I could see her kind of going down the path of, like really going kind of villain, like dark Dany. But then like the White Walkers show up, and I might snap her out of it, and she's like, wait, we should all unite and fight as one as for humanity, and fight the White Walkers as they descend on like King's Landing or something.
I mean, clearly the White Walkers are sort of the big X factor here, and it's hard not to think that there's got to be some version of we're all united against this common foe, and even like, Littlefinger and his forces and all these different forces maybe have to fight together. But it's not going to be, that won't be the ending. Like, we have to put aside our differences. And, today we fought as one. Even if they pause to fight the White Walkers, I could still see, like, once that's over and the very ending could still be Dany being like, thanks for the help, Jon Snow. And then there's that decapitation.
I feel like there's being a lot of blood at the end, for sure.
Yeah. So I don't know. I wouldn't say, I don't know if she's going to become a villain. But I just, the idea that she has no allegiance to these people and only kind of hates Westeros for like what happened to her family, I think will Probably
Yeah.
coming, yeah.
And just a reminder that her slogan isn't like peace and equality, it's fire and blood.
Right. Good point. Good point. So yeah, so there could be some dark times coming with Dany. What do you think? Let us know in the comments. Do you think Dany is gonna turn into a villain, or would it maybe it's a little different than that? Might she end up fighting and maybe killing some people we love before the end of Game of Thrones? Let us know in the comments.